let's keep this meeting less formal, not as a formal press conference, more like a media roundtable. I will make some introduction and later on our Vice Chancellor will say a few words. Later on, let's have a free-flowing exchange. Dear friends, I'm really happy to be in Manipal. I have promised to come here for a long period of time, but so far I have not been able to do it, to make it, but I'm really happy to be here. And there are three occasions for my travel to here. First one, which was mentioned, tomorrow there will be a great day. We will formally inaugurate the Jean Monnet Center of Excellence, which will be hosted by the Department of European Studies at Manipal Academy of Higher Education. The second occasion or second reason is to meet representatives of those Indian universities which are part of our project or our scheme program, which is called Capacity Building in Higher Education Project. That's why the Manipal University has kindly agreed to have a meeting of representatives of almost 60 universities from all over India for a two-day conference to discuss experience collected by those universities in the process of the implementation of the project, and to meet my colleagues from Brussels to find out how we may make that project even more successful. I will come back to it later. And the third reason is the Manipal University will host an event which is called the EU Day. EU Day is our project implemented by the delegation of the European Union in Delhi, in different Indian cities, universities, to present the European Union to student communities in many places of India. This year I traveled to Orissa, I traveled to Assam, I traveled to Chandigarh, to Pune. Now I'm in Manipal. But allow me to say a few more general things about the European Union-India relations. The European Union and India have been traditionally very good friends, and we established our relations in the beginning of the 60s. We signed a number of agreements, very basic agreements, but my assessment is that we have not been able to utilize the existing potential for EU-India cooperation to an extent which would be desirable by the European Union and India. But now we are 2-3 years ago, we have opened a new page. We opened a new page in our relations. The European and Indian leaders met in Brussels in March 2016, and later on they met for the regular summit meeting in New Delhi in October 2017. And they meet occasionally in the margins of big international events. That's why they met again in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, in the margins of the G20 summit on the 1st of December. It means that such exchanges are really very regular ones. And it's not only at the highest level, but as well at ministerial level. My foreign minister, who formally is called the High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Security Policy, Federica Mogherini, was in India twice in 2017. Earlier this year, in June, Minister Swaraj visited Brussels. They met in the margins of the Angla. And we have a number of visits by European commissioners, Indian high-level officials in Brussels. Such exchanges are really very active. How we perceive India as our partner? We perceive India as one of our key partners due to the India role in international relations, the India growing economy. India is the fastest growing emerging economy in the world. India has huge demographic, economic potential for the future. That's why we are really very much interested. But I'm not going into details, you know it better. But I would like to underline one point which is very important from our point of view. India is one of those partners for the European Union with whom we share the same values and principles. India is the largest democracy in the world. India follows market economy principles, rule of law, human rights, and so on. It means that by nature, as we share the same values and principles, for us, India is a natural partner. And when our leaders met a year ago, they formally declared and underlined that the European Union and India are natural partners. And the key task which is faced by the European Union and India is how we, to what extent we are able to transform or to use these very basic principles and very basic fundamentals to transform them to clearly identify common interests and to design a way, to design the best ways to utilize the existing potential for our cooperation. And 10 days ago, the European Union adopted its fundamental strategy on relations with India. We published a 15-page paper in which we, as the European Union, the EU institutions and EU member states, have reconfirmed their full commitment to further develop EU-India relations. But the document is not only full of political commitments and declarations. The document contains a long list of practical measures and practical instruments how we can move our cooperation forward. And there are a few main directions for our cooperation. The first one is EU-India Partnership for Sustainable Modernization, and which is very much based on India's priorities and expectations. That's why cooperation in such fields like trade, investments, climate change, renewable energy, water management, science and technology, ICT are very much highlighted. By the way, we're not going to start from the scratch. We have already moved our cooperation in all those fields which I have mentioned very much forward, but now the task is how we may cooperate in a more sustainable way. In this context, I would like to underline that we have separate partnerships between EU and India on clean energy and climate, on water, on sustainable urbanization, on resource efficiency. Now we are working on a partnership on blue economy. And all those partnerships, they have a very strong business dimension and financial dimension. It means that we are trying, both sides are trying to find business solutions for our common challenges and financial solutions. And regarding financial solutions, I would like to underline that the European Investment Bank, which is one of the EU institutions, is very much active in India. So far the EIB has invested 2.5 billion euros in Indian economy, mainly in sectors related to climate change and energy and infrastructure. I'm not so sure you are aware that the European Investment Bank is very much engaged in the development of Bangalore metro project with almost 500 million euros investments. It is a very substantial investment. We co-financed Lucknow metro project. We probably will do the same with Pune. The second important direction is related to a foreign security policy. We share a lot of assessments concerning the current unstable and unpredictable international global order. We face the same challenges and threats in form of terrorism, cyber threats, maritime threats. That's why we have established a very good cooperation and we are moving forward, including through a direct contacts between the Europol, European agency and Indian law enforcement agencies. And we cooperate on many other issues like Afghanistan, Maldives, recently Iran, and so on. The third direction is very much related to my basic objectives of my visit to Manipal. We, as the European Union and India, have to, and we realize at the governmental level, at officials level, that our main task is to establish fora, to establish platforms for more active cooperation at different levels between different entities. That's why in this context, the people-to-people contacts are extremely important, and cooperation in the field of education, research and innovation are key elements of our strategy. And allow me to give you maybe some examples. We in the European Union we have a long list of special schemes or projects which are designed to strengthen or to deepen cooperation between the European Union and third countries, including in India, in the field of education. I would like to mention Erasmus Plus project, under which there is an active exchange of students between India and the European Union, plus there is a Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action. This is a project for mobility of researchers. So far, 2,500 Indian researchers participate in that project. We have a Jean Monnet program, which was already mentioned, and we will have an event tomorrow. We have a Horizon 2020 project, under which the Indian research institutions are eligible for, in cooperation with European partners, to work to implement research and research projects. And recently we launched, for example, a project on joint project on influenza vaccine, on water management, only as an examples. Under the Erasmus Plus program, so far we have had in Europe almost 6,000 Indian students, participants of that project, and it's very important to underline that among them 250 Erasmus alumni are from Karnataka, and among them 25 from Manipal University. And the Indian citizens are the most successful applicants for different types of scholarships under Erasmus Plus program. But this figure, 6,000, maybe is not very impressive. That's why allow me to add that under that project, Erasmus Plus, we finance such student exchanges and researchers' mobility. But overall, as of now, there are more than 50,000 Indian students in Europe through different scholarship programs implemented by us, by member states, by universities, or under other schemes. Europe is becoming more and more interesting destination for Indian students. And as I mentioned earlier, I met with almost 60 representatives of 60 Indian universities, which are part of a capacity building program for higher education. This is a new program which was launched in 2014, and through that program we co-finance consortia consisting of Indian and European universities with an objective to improve capacities of Indian universities and European universities for the international, to develop international links. In addition to that, we have a program for master degree, and again the Indian students, postgraduate students are very successful. We have another program which is called International Credit Mobility. So far, since 2015, we have had more than 1,000 Indian students under that program. And we have Jean Monnet chairs, which such titles are given, and some financial support is given to eminent Indian professors to specializing in the field of European Union studies. And by the way, only this year we have given the stipend to 12 professors, and half of them are from Karnataka, including from Manipal University. And the last point from which we have started, Jean Monnet Center of Excellence in European Studies. I would like to underline that for the first time such Jean Monnet Center of Excellence in European Studies has been awarded to Manipal University, and we will open this center tomorrow. And in the meantime, the second Jean Monnet Center of Excellence was awarded to JNU in New Delhi, but Manipal was the first. And I would like to underline before concluding that as of now, the Manipal Academy of Higher Education is probably the most successful higher education institution in India in the sense of establishing and implementing cooperation between India and the European Union in the field of education. Our partnership with Manipal has been truly a long and progressive relationship with 13 projects co-financed under Erasmus Plus, and now culminating into the Center of Excellence. Why it's important for us, why we pay so much attention to cooperation in the field of education. It's not only a question to provide support. Overall, India is so well-developed country, and India doesn't need so much external support. But this is something which we perceive as extremely important to create a much stronger basis for our future cooperation, for established direct links between Indian universities, European universities, allowing them to be exposed to such cooperation, to be more internationalized, and in the future we will have more and more experts on Europe and more experts in Europe about contemporary India. Maybe as usual I have been too long, but I only briefly mentioned certain elements. If somebody would ask me, I'm always full of energy to brief everybody all around how our cooperation is well established, and it will bring even better results in the future. When sometimes my wife makes a mistake, she asks me about something and later on she's not able to stop me. And this time I will stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. So before we go to the question of media people, I would like to thank His Excellency, the Ambassador of the European Union, Dr. Thomas Kozłowski, because we find it difficult to pronounce your name.
And because
hopefully I'm fine, I'm right.
It's fine.
Yeah,
right.
Same you from your side, because we have Helmet Brand, heading our Prasanna School of Public Health. He finds it so difficult to pronounce our names. Same thing here also. But anyway, sir, very happy to have you here in Manipal. And Manipal, as you rightly said, is one of the centers where you have a large number of students from the European Union. And you have helped us a lot, because we started this European Studies Department way back in 2009. And the purpose is to see that functions as a multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary platform for European studies. And I am very happy and proud to say that our Department of European Studies is the only institute in India that offers a master's program in European Studies. And our ambassador was very kind enough to praise Manipal, because he said our two countries share human values and principles. That's why we have to be natural friends. And India is a country with a very large young population. More than 52% of our population are below the age of 25 years in the higher education group. All the more reason it's very important that we should expose our students for education as well as research. Research is very important, that is creation of new knowledge. And I firmly believe that education and research should not have any physical boundaries. That's the reason why there should be movement of people, students, faculty from one country to another. That's one of the reasons why we have a strong relationship with the European Union. The fact that the European Union ambassador himself has come to Manipal shows the value and the importance that he gives to MAHI, Manipal Academy of Higher Education. So I would like to thank you, sir, for making it possible to be with us here this evening, and extend a warm welcome to you. And also he has mentioned so many reasons why we should have the two countries, European Union and India, should have relationships, close relationships, not necessarily in education and healthcare, for other reasons also, like security, terrorism, etc., about which he has already mentioned. And basically we want to promote education, research and innovation. These are the three motives why we have this partnership with the European Union. And I assure you, sir, in this platform that MAHI will live up to your expectations. We might exceed your expectations also. Thank you very much.